Let's move on to the Brooklyn Nets, who are next up here. I feel like with Brooklyn, so much of the conversation from a national perspective has focused on the biggest names. We've heard ad nauseum how Kevin Durant is fully recovered from the previous injuries and is in the MVP race, maybe even leading the MVP race on some ballots. We've heard about how James Harden has had to fight to overcome the new foul rules and whether he's been overrated and all of that discussion. And then Kyrie Irving, obviously. Patty Mills has not gotten enough attention. So my number here is 3. And that's how many qualified players have hit at least 44% of their three-pointers during a qualified season while taking more than 7 per game. Steph Curry has done it 3 times. Duncan Robinson did it in 2019-20, and Klay Thompson did it in 2017-18. Patty Mills is on pace to join them and actually has the largest on-off swing among Nets rotation players. I feel like he just needs more love in general for having a truly stellar season that is making life on Durant and Harden that much easier and just not getting any attention for doing it.
That's probably fair. You obviously have big stars there that are going to cast a shadow over what everyone else on this roster is doing. And I do think that there have been a lot of positive stories on this team in the face of Kyrie not being there, the COVID stuff, then just the extracurricular Kyrie stuff. Are they bringing him back? Yes, they are bringing him back. Always in least health and safety protocols. Harden having like a James Harden trademark game once every 3rd game at this point, every other game, whatever it's been. So yeah, I would totally agree with you there. I am surprised that maybe you didn't focus on their defense a bit, because my question would be, do you think it's real or fake when you look at the results to this point?
I think it's a little fake.
Yeah, I'm not trying to overstep with the stats here, but when I was looking through stuff.
No, go ahead. Mine was purely agenda driven. Mills deserves more attention.
Patty, by the way, not that I didn't like that signing. I was convinced towards the end of last year that Patty Mills might be done. Then he goes off in the Olympics and I'm like, all right, it's the Olympics. And then it's like, oh no, you were just fucking wrong. Patty Mills is a G. And has he been their third? He's easily been their 3rd most valuable player this year, right? Like maybe you could say LaMarcus Aldridge is in there.
I would put Mills well ahead.
I'm with you.
And I'm right there with you, where I expected this to be kind of an irrelevant signing. I mean, his 3-point percentage had trended down for each of the last 3 seasons. It seemed like he was having more trouble generating open looks. And yeah, there's something to be said for the luxury of playing with Durant, but he's looked incredible within the flow of this offense.
The thing that still shocks me, and maybe they'll just get, I don't want to say everything's been luck, but maybe they'll get, for lack of a better word, lucky all season. But this is a team that for most of the year, and yeah, now there's a ton of noise in there, but they're 6th in points allowed per possession this year. There is, I don't know that there's a faker team-wide stat out there right now than what the Nets have gotten. They have been the best 3-point shooting defense in the league, which means that they've definitely been fortunate. Opponents are shooting 31.4% from 3. The other thing is that they have the 4th best half-court defense in the NBA, but they're not a good defensive rebounding team, and they're getting destroyed when they do allow putbacks. And the other thing is they just don't have a good transition defense. They are dead last in the NBA too in points allowed per possession off a turnover. They're allowing almost 1.5 points per possession off a turnover. That's a lot. Look, they're in the top 10 right now. All you can do, you're playing the games. That's what's happened. Legitimately shocking. If that holds all season, my God, I'll be floored.
I would too. And I do think there's something to the idea that as much attention as Brooklyn receives and as much attention as the star players receive, some of those pieces might be a little bit underrated on defense. Like James Harden, for all the criticisms he's received, he's actually a pretty competent post defender. He can switch onto some bigger bodies. Durant has been a defensive nightmare for the opposition for a while now, but because he's just so damn good as a scorer, he does not receive enough credit for being a fully well-rounded player. It's more the aging veterans where it's like, do we really want to count on this keeping up for too long? If they want to give 30 minutes a game to Nick Claxton, then sure, maybe that'll happen.
I think that they've gotten like really good minutes out of, Nick Claxton has been good since he returned. Bruce Brown helped them. DeAndre Bembry was playing a big role of points for them. James Johnson has given them some really good minutes. Their defense has been, again, some of it might be luck, but their defense has been legitimately good this year statistically in certain areas. I just question whether it will hold